We all have that one friend in our lives. You know who I'm talking about. That person that believes all their stories are the best, even when they're not necessarily true. Well, that's what we're going to find out today. My name is Stephen Hogencamp, and welcome to Cool Story Bro, the show where we try to figure out if stories are true or just a cool story, bro. Let's get into it.
This is Cool Story Bro with your host, Stephen Hogencamp.
Let's meet our lovely contestants today, and we have an all-star level cast on tap today. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, telling me your name, where you're from, and what you believe your biggest red flag is. We're going to start with you here at the top.
I'm from San Luis Obispo, California, and I think my biggest red flag, I don't know, I get super anxious, I don't leave the house very much because of it, so I'm kind of a homebody.
Yeah,
Some people might not like that.
Pretty understandable. Slow, lots of cows. It's a beautiful town, but yeah. What about you? Next to Evelyn.
My name is Oskai. I am from Orlando, Florida, and my biggest red flag is that I am from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Florida's not doing too hot recently.
It's actually getting hotter by the minute.
Yeah,
but
don't tell the politicians that though. They may not believe you. And then down
true.
here in the front, what's your name?
My name is Alex. I am from Southern Oregon, and I would say my biggest red flag is that I never participate in group chats. I just let everyone else do the talking, and I
Then you have none of the
observe.
blame, if a plan doesn't follow through. Like those TikTok trends, when the trip leaves the group chat. If it doesn't happen, you're not to blame for that, Alex. And finally, what's your name?
My name is Matisse, and I'm from outside of Boulder, Colorado. And my biggest red flag is probably that I'm a yapper. I never stop talking. Ironically, I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, well, 4 contestants, 4 different states. And so we're now going to go over the basic rules of Cool Story Bro. All of our contestants will be given a topic from our very own virtual wheel. And once spun, contestants will have to tell their story based on the prompt. The catch? One of the 4 contestants up here will be telling a lie. It will be up to our panel over to my right to figure out who is telling that lie. And for each round, contestants will get eliminated until we are down to 1 final contestant. However, at the beginning of round 3, the panel will have a chance to undo an elimination. Now, who's ready to hear a cool story, bro? We're going to go over to our virtual wheel and spin it for our very first topic. We have around 8 to 10 topics, and our first one is weirdest food. Now, contestants, you'll have some time to discuss here, or with yourself in your mind, the weirdest food you have consumed in your lives. And while our contestants take that time, let's meet today's panel. Starting with you, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Jack.
Hi, Jack. Where are you from?
I am from Orange County.
Orange County? Where in Orange County?
I am from San Clemente.
San Clemente. Ooh, pretty windy down there. Doesn't it get pretty windy down there?
No.
No?
Not really. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, must have missed my weather report with Gavin Wynn this week, because I totally thought it gets pretty windy down there. And then over to your Jack's right. What's your name?
Hello, Stephen.
Hi.
My name is Angie.
Hi, Angie. Where are you from?
I'm from the sunny vacation spot of Palm Springs, California.
And how do you like it there?
It's hot.
It's hot?
I don't know about Florida hot, but it's hot.
It's a different type of hot.
It's a
Florida
different type.
hot, feel like your arm gets stuck to a table. In Palm Springs,
Right,
you feel like you
great
just melt
analogy.
on the floor.
Yeah.
It must be tough. And you guys, what are you guys doing on today's panel? What are you hoping to achieve out of this?
I'm hoping to figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth.
You must have read our rules then.
Yeah.
Not trying to come away with any win or anything here.
I heard bragging rights was on the table.
Bragging rights. Maybe a special prize in the end as well. Angie, what are you trying to accomplish here?
Honestly, I had a hair appointment during this time, but it got canceled.
Okay.
So,
So we're the next best thing?
I mean, I always like to do charity work, stuff like that.
Yeah, because you guys are not getting paid. I don't know if you expected that. We are not paying you very low budget cuts. But, okay. Now that the contestants have had some time with their prompt, let's hear some stories. We're going to start once again with you, Evelyn. What is the weirdest food you have ate?
It's okay. So I had a friend who went to Australia with their family, and they brought back a thing of Vegemite. Oh. But they didn't just put it on like toast like you're supposed to. The thing about Vegemite is it's like a concentrated salty paste. So they put it in like soups, weirdly enough, which was honestly not as bad as I thought it would be, but I would not have it again.
Yeah, I've never had it myself, but I have heard that it is horrible, whatever you really put it on. So that is definitely really weird. Oh, Sky, what about you?
I'm like trying to think of what qualifies as weird. I had ox tongue once.
Oh, okay. Where did you have this dish?
Cruise ship.
Cruise ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they ran out of food and just maybe when they were at a dock, they found an ox and were like, his tongue looks really edible.
I had already ordered 7 shrimp cocktails, so.
Ooh, okay. So you were a little inebriated, maybe?
I just wanted something different.
Yeah. You were a little done with the shrimp?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have any of you guys had ox tongue before?
Definitely not.
I've had cow's tongue at a Korean barbecue, and it was very tasty, if I might add.
Very chewy.
Yeah. You've had ox tongue?
Yeah.
You've had everything up here, Jack.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the one lying.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex, what is the weirdest food you have had?
I would say the weirdest food that I've had was a shot that was a combination of pickle juice and vodka.
I have had pickle juice before, never with vodka. How did that taste?
The taste was not terrible. It felt like a strange chemical reaction. Yeah.
Sam? Jack, I assume you've had pickle juice and...
Yes, I have.
You have? Okay. Okay, under what context was this in?
It was under the context of bad decisions.
Bad decisions. That's what normally these types of foods lead to, bad decisions. And finally, once again, finishing off with you, Matisse. What is your weirdest food?
I would say kangaroo meat.
Was this also an Australian dish?
So, no, I just have a weird aunt. So for a dance...
We all have one of those.
For a dance recital, she was like, I want to get a gift that I'm going to remember, and boy, did I. So she got me some kangaroo meat.
Jack?
Yeah, I've had it.
Okay. Well, we're going to let the panel and you at home mull over these stories to figure out who are liars. You can go online to BetMGM and bet who you believe is our liar to try to redeem some points. Code Steven on the checkout. And when we return, our panel will dig in deep into the stories of our contestants.
You are in the middle of a game. Adrenaline coursing through your body. And you are calling the shots. Feel the power as you control the game's narrative. From commentator to camera virtuoso, replay wizard to unyielding director. There is no better experience than being in the moment. Challenge your limits and embrace the electrifying rush that comes with the crowd's roar. You never know the epic plays you will capture and the masterpiece you could make. You could be an amateur learning on the fly or a pro wanting to expand your skills. You will always fit in. And what better place to broadcast your skills than in sports? Never knowing what is coming next and always coming across something new. Join the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network and experience the thrill of life.
Welcome back to Cool Story Bro, and our contestants have the prompt of weirdest food they've consumed. And now we turn it to our amazing panel to ask them some questions about their stories.
Yeah. Steven, I have to say, I'm going to go with the kangaroo in the room. why kangaroo meat? And also, you mentioned your aunt gave it to you. What's like the context of that? Was it like a birthday party?
Yeah, so it was like genuinely a dance recital. So like she has like a history of giving weird gifts, and like instead of a bouquet, she gave me a lettuce plant, and then one time she gave me a whole jackfruit, which is a huge piece of
Great
melon.
name for a fruit.
It's yeah. And yeah. Wait, what were the other questions?
I just kind of got distracted with my panelists here, but so this was during a dance recital, you said.
Yeah.
And can you, not to go into too much detail here, but can you go into describing how that tasted for you?
Well, it was very chewy, I would say. It's a tough meat. Like their fibers are not, like the protein is itself very tough.
Okay.
And so it was not appetizing, I would say, and chewy, and yeah.
And, like, how did you season it, or how did she season it? And also,
I don't know. If I'm honest with you, it kind of just appeared into my life and then was gone just as fast. If that makes sense.
Just like many men that I have dated in the past.
Not only me, my brothers too.
Last question was this. You know, Steven is profile there. So my last question, I'm really, really curious. Did you try this kangaroo meat in America? Was it Australia?
This was Colorado in America, yeah.
Oskai, I'm gonna get into your ox tongue situation.
Yeah.
Where was your cruise?
I feel like it was in the Caribbean. My family cruises a lot, so that's like our go-to vacation.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, interesting. You don't remember a cruise, but I
It
guess
might
we've
have been
on a lot of
Alaska,
cruises.
but I feel like it was Alaska.
Okay.
That sounds like a very Alaskan dish to have.
I remember because of the shrimp cocktails. That was what I was doing in Alaska.
Those are two very different places, climate-wise, the Caribbean and Alaska.
Those are the two places we've gone.
Oh, but you said you cruise a lot.
Yeah, to the Caribbean. Well, I guess we did a transatlantic once. So I guess we cruise in Europe and
Do you know there was the
Caribbean
ship that did a
and
transatlantic
Alaska.
once? They almost made it. It's close. Yeah. Bummer.
So, Oskai, then how was that experience for you? Did you like it? This was your first time trying
I feel like it just tasted like meat. Like it was just like.
Was it presented to you like as a tongue, or was it like diced up? Was it like, I'm just curious on the logistics of this. I've had it before, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I feel like I was not really paying attention to how tongue it looked. Like I feel like I just saw like, oh, it's ox tongue. It's a chunk of meat, and then I tasted it, and it tasted like meat, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep eating my other stuff. I don't know.
So it wasn't one of
like
those
an
things.
appetizer.
Like it wasn't one of those things where you were not told what it was before, and like whoever
No, I
was
was
trying,
told
like, oh, try that.
You know, my family, we like to order like the strange things on the menu, so we can be like, oh, we tried this.
Your family would probably be good friends with Matisse's aunt.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
They would go really at it with those weird dishes.
Yeah, they're really into like the story of it. I'm not quite as much, so I like more so remember the fact that we talked about having ox tongue more than like the actual ox tongue itself, I think.
It's a great conversation starter.
Yeah.
How many people have you told?
You're the first about the ox tongue.
But you just said
I
you
tell
like-
people about the shrimp.
So
That's my bit. The
but you
ox
just
tongue
said
is
you
for
like
everyone else.
telling people about
They
the
do.
ox tongue.
My family does.
But
I
you don't.
I like the shrimp cocktail.
Oh.
That's a better story.
That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Alex, pickle and vodka shot. How was that?
I'd do it again.
You know, honestly, I think we have all we need to figure out.
So it
what we need to do.
seems, as Jack just stated, that our panel is about to come to their first decision about who to eliminate. So panel, we'll give you a little time to discuss very briefly on who you believe. Remember, you are eliminating who you believe is telling the truth, that they have no holes in their stories. We'll give the panel some time to talk there. Once again, mentioning, go online, BetMGM. We have our live odds of who is the liar and who is telling the truth. You can win up to $5 on BetMGM. Code Steven at checkout. But Jack, Angie, who is telling our cool story, bro? Who do you think is telling the truth here?
I think Oskai is telling the truth. I think his story checks out.
Okay, so Oskai, looks like you're a little too good at telling the truth here. So you can step off to the side here. And now we are down to our 3 final contestants. And it is now time to spin the wheel for another topic. So we'll get again to our virtual wheel to spin. Time for our second topic. We had weirdest food before. Now it's going to be your earliest memory. Now, this doesn't have to be a specific age. It just has to be what is the earliest memory that you have in your mind. And so we'll give our contestants about a minute and a half to figure out those stories. We can come back over to you, panel. Why did you guys decide on Oskai being the one that you believe is telling the truth?
You know, honestly, I think ox tongue is not that strange of a dish. It's served.
Where do you eat your food, Jack?
It's just not important right now. But I think it's like served in a lot of interesting places. You know, when you're on a trip, that makes sense. You want to try strange things. If ox tongue was on the menu, I could see him wanting to try that. And even though he did say things and then he said other things, I think he was just nervous.
And Angie?
I just want to know, where did you try ox tongue?
It's so not important. I'm a judge, not a contestant.
Okay.
Well, I would just like.
Jack is refusing to answer there. And so that means our time is up, and it is now time for our contestants to tell their cool story bros. So Evelyn, we're going to start once again with you. What's the earliest memory you have in your mind?
My earliest memory is, I think I was walking around, you know how you like look at Christmas lights with your family? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were doing that, but there was like a motion activated Christmas tree. And so my toddler self walked up to it and it like turned on and it started dancing and it like scared me and I started crying. I just remember being like really, really scared by that. So
I've seen a lot of those videos of those motion activated one or the sound activated ones that play it to music. They're really cool, but I can imagine a big tree as a toddler would really scare you. That does sound, that could be very frightening. Mm. Alex, what about you? What's your earliest memory?
I imagine y'all have seen the 2006 film Cars.
Yes.
About cars. Yeah. So as a kid, I had all these little metal cars, and there were a few hundred of them. Like I had so many of these little cars. They were all characters from the movie, and I would just like stack them on top of each other for no real reason. But I would just take all these cars, like dump them on the floor, and then put one on top of the other. That's my earliest memory.
Did they ever fall over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Not a good foundation right there, it sounds like.
Not at all.
I think I had a couple of those cars growing up too. The Lightning McQueen, I think I had a Doc one as well. And then Matisse, finally with you, what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is probably, I remember I always had foot pain when I was like a little kid because I had like a weird bump on my ankle. I don't know why. And it went away. And don't worry about it. And I would like always get this awful foot pain and I'd wake up in the middle of the night like just like crying. And so that's what I remember, crying in the middle of the night in my crib, being like upset and stuff.
Didn't know where it came from?
The bump?
Yeah.
No, they like did an x-ray. I remember this vividly because we went and we got it x-rayed and there's just like, they were like, there's no explanation for this. And it was like.
And then it just disappeared one day?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting story right there. Panel, we're going to turn it once again back to you to ask some more questions about these new stories about their earliest memories.
Yeah, Alex, the cars situation, I did the same thing. I'll be completely honest. I never stacked them personally. I wasn't much of a physics guy. I don't know, builder. But yeah, I had all those. So I just wanted to relate that. No questions for you whatsoever. That brought me back to my childhood. So thanks for that. Evelyn, that's crazy. You saw Christmas lights as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is that a very...
Is that crazy?
I'll take it over here for my partner. So Matisse, I have a question for you. Was it foot pain you said?
Yeah.
Interesting. And how old were you when you went to go get this x-ray?
I was like, it was like before school, so like preschool, maybe even earlier.
Interesting.
We had a guest on here once who was exposed to radiation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's so strange.
Great.
Continue.
So, anyways, where was I going with that? But you mentioned you were in a crib.
Yeah.
So you were in a crib while you were in preschool?
Yeah. Well, I just remember I couldn't get out. Like I was like, because obviously I would go and find my parents if I could go like talk to them about my friggin' foot pain. But yeah, it was like I was probably like 4 3 or 4.
At what age do children start talking?
I don't know. I'm not a mother, so I wouldn't know.
I feel like 4 is old, right? I feel like you should have been in your own bed at that point. I don't know. I don't remember when I developed.
We're not trying to judge you,
Yeah,
as a.
well,
I'm trying to judge your developmental process. I'm
Well,
just
now I
saying
feel
that
kind
you're
of
kind of slow.
judged. I'm kind
If you're in a crib.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just saying.
It's
I'm
just
just saying.
You know.
It's not
anyways,
lining up.
I'll
Stories-
speak again for
so,
my.
It seems to me you may have. Is it time? Do you guys have a contestant in mind that you believe you want to eliminate, or do you have some more questions?
I mean, I know who I trust just based on their story. So
Angie?
He'll relay that to me because we're not on the same page probably. But
We'll give the panel some time to discuss a little. Contestants, going over to you. How are we feeling? Evelyn, how you feeling? First time on the show.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm having a fun time so far.
Yeah,
so.
having fun. Remember, guys, big time bragging rights you can come away with if you fool our judges here who, as Angie said, are not right now on the same page. That is exactly where you guys want to be. Alex, you've been here a couple times in past seasons. How are you feeling about your chances here?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I've been able to keep my cool on today's episode.
And Matisse?
I feel deeply judged.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like my developmental state was deeply brought into
Is
question.
the ankle okay, though?
Is the what?
Is the ankle okay?
Yeah, it was like a nubbin. I don't know.
Is that the
That's
Friends
that's
reference
the
right there?
proper
Okay.
term. Nubbin.
Well, panel, it seems to me you have come to a decision. So who is the next contestant you will eliminate?
yes, Steven. So I think we are both on the same page now.
Great.
I've got to say we think the truther is Miss Alex Dorr.
Alex Dorr, otherwise known as Doorknob. Alex, thank you for telling your stories. We're going to have you step off to the side. And when we come back, we are down to our final 2 contestants. When we return, we figure out who the panel believes is lying, and then you, the audience, will see who in fact is our esteemed liar when we return to Cool Story Bro.
You are in the middle of a game. Adrenaline coursing through your body. And you are calling the shots. Feel the power as you control the game's narrative. From commentator to camera virtuoso, replay wizard to unyielding director. There is no better experience than being in the moment. Challenge your limits and embrace the electrifying rush that comes with the crowd's roar. You never know the epic plays you will capture and the masterpiece you could make. You could be an amateur learning on the fly or a pro wanting to expand your skills. You will always fit in. And what better place to broadcast your skills than in sports? Never knowing what is coming next and always coming across something new. Join the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network and experience the thrill of life.
Welcome back to Cool Story Bro, the show where we try to figure out what's true and what's just a story. Before the break, we had 2 contestants eliminated, meaning we are down to our final 2. And now, as mentioned in Act 1, we have our next topic, the Uno Reverse, where our panelists here will have the chance to bring back another contestant, switch out with one of our 2 contestants left to see if they think if they made a mistake. So, Jack, Angie, you can discuss a little bit if you want to bring another contestant back. And it's time to talk about our next sponsor, Popeyes. Popeyes. Are you wondering where your chicken comes from? Well, we are too. Come down to Popeyes and eat our chicken and say, what kind of animal is this? Angie, Jack, do you want to utilize the Uno reverse card here?
Do you want to speak on this one?
Sure. I finally get to speak. So, yes, we do. And after a lot of consideration, we think that we want to start Evelyn with Oskai.
Oh, so
Bring
we'll
back
bring
the
Oskai
Sky in.
back from our green room. Evelyn, thank you. You did a great job telling the truth. If Oskai can come back right on to our stage, you'll meet right there, maybe in our door. Our new segment, the Uno Reverse, Oskai now has been brought back. You could take a seat right next to Matisse right here. How are the snacks back there? What'd you eat? You get some Popeyes.
I had.
And there.
Yeah,
You
the
did?
pop. Well, because I wasn't sure what it was. I was kind of curious,
That's Popeyes.
but I was like, maybe this is chicken.
Exactly. That's the thinking Popeyes will get you. So it is now time to spin our virtual wheel for our final topic. So we'll spin it right here. So it's spinning for our final topic. Matisse and Oskai are our final 2 contestants. It is most interesting story. It is a cool story, bro staple. Think about the most interesting thing that has happened to you in your life. And we'll give you 1 minute to think about that. We'll go right over to the panel. Jack, Angie, why did you make the decision to switch out Evelyn and Oskai?
Do you want to speak on this one?
Sure, I'll speak again. So I think that Oskai really needed to be added to kind of make things interesting. You know, I felt like Evelyn's stories were solid enough to the point where we were like, okay,
She was telling the
she
truth.
was good. She was good. You know, not for the final 2. So we're like, okay, who do we got to question more?
Okay.
Bring the
So
Sky back in.
you heard that, Oskai. They think you got little holes in your story. Okay. So we've given you guys some time. Oskai, we're going to start with you. What is your most interesting story?
My most interesting story. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for bringing me back. It feels really nice to be wanted, and I just it was what I needed to hear today.
You want them to think you're a liar.
If that's what gets me in the room.
Okay.
Yeah. My most interesting story, I'm going to tell you one from the past month because I think this is fun. So the school that we go to had an event where there was a speaker, and I had run into her before. I thought it was very inspiring. Anyway, the week passed and it was spring break, and I was in San Diego kind of on a whim. I had been told by the barista at Contra, not the ones that I know because I go there all the time, but the one guy that I hadn't seen before. And he said, if you go to San Diego, you need to go to Tacos El Gordo. And I said, okay, I don't know when I'll be in San Diego. Well, I was in San Diego 3 days later, and I had to go to Tacos El Gordo.
Exactly.
But it was St. Patrick's Day, like weekend, so there were already festivities starting. So me and my 2 friends that I were with were like wandering through this block party, and we're like, we have to get to Tacos El Gordo because the barista told us to. And as we go off on this tangent, I see this woman on the street corner, and there's something about her. And I need to be very specific about the way I phrase this because I don't want to make it sound like I'm just staring at this woman for like reasons, but I'm looking at her, and I'm noticing that I'm looking at her, and it's very bizarre. And as I approach her, she turns and she looks at me, and I'm like, I don't recognize her. I'm just looking at her, and she's looking at me, and it's weird, and we start to pass each other, and she gets about here, halfway by me, and I realize, oh my God, this is the Nobel laureate who just spoke at our school. And in the same moment that I realize who she is, she realizes who I am, and we turn, and we stop in the middle of the street, and we go, hi, how are you? Strangest encounter I've ever had in my life.
You felt wanted there too.
I felt seen.
Oh yeah, that's always helpful. Very intricate story. Went really into depth there.
It was necessary.
Yes. Matisse, what about you? Most interesting story.
So my most interesting story is probably that my hometown was burnt down by a cult.
What a cult! I do want to know. What cult?
So the cult is called the 12 Tribes. They own a little shop called the Yellow Deli. And essentially what occurred was that during Christmas of 2021, they were doing a ritual where they set some things on fire, and they thought they stamped it out completely. A week later, 2 days before New Year's Eve, it reignited, and hurricane level winds picked it up and set an entire fire.
In Colorado?
Yes, but then ironically, we have a lot of dry bush because we didn't get enough snow that year, and it caught on one side. Ironically, on the other side of the town, there was this spark of fire from like electricity company. It was ExxonMobil, I think, and they just had like this random spark. It caught on the other side, 2 fires happening at the same time, completely related. And then because the wind was going so bad, started picking them up, it hopped everywhere. 1,000 homes burned down, right? And then on top of that, it started snowing. So the houses that got partially burned down, then they got flooded by snow and started, like pipes burst. It was a whole mess. The government came in, shut down the whole town, like surrounded the entire town with military tanks. And President Biden was there for a bit. Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. And they shut it down because they thought that people were burning down their own houses. So
You got the full effect of climate change happening in your own
just
town.
a little bit,
Okay. Well, panels, a lot to digest there. Both very interesting stories from both Oskai and Matisse. But now it's your turn to ask them some questions to what you want to know more about their stories.
Do you want to talk first?
I mean, that was very interesting. I don't even think they left a detail out. Do you have a question?
No, you keep
I'm a
going.
little starstruck right now. Okay. Snowing and then fire and then wind. Is that possible? Like,
I mean,
that's like 3
yeah.
of the.
No, it was pretty cool.
Earth, wind, and fire over here.
So true. It was pretty cool. It was like, and then we got like 3 feet of snow. So then the days after, because they had the whole town shut down, we had to walk about 2 miles to get to our houses to turn off our pipes so that they didn't burst and flood our friggin' houses. And
that would have been bad because then you would have had flooding and a fire. Like,
yeah, which
but,
some people already did
out.
have that because of the various elements. So.
And where was your house in this? Was it safe?
My house was a couple streets down from the because it was so random. Like literally, it picked up ashes and like scattered them. So it was like any house could get burned down. But mine was about 2 streets up from where one of the streets that like it burned down was. So it ended up being fine. And then the wind like blew over a tree in our house. So, but the house is fine. We're good. We just have like soot and damage, but
all houses.
But no, not anymore. That was 2 years ago.
Okay. It's 3 years ago, but yeah.
So it was.
Okay.
Well, you said it was 2021.
It was 2021 New Year's Eve.
It wasn't fully 3 years ago, Jack. I don't know if you could.
I was getting there.
Mathematically,
I was getting there. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions you have maybe for
You're
Oskai?
smart, Jack. So, Oskai,
You want to talk?
why? Sorry, I'm not going to let my panelists talk here. Backfire from the other rounds. So, Oskai, this was truly your most interesting story, is seeing that guest speaker. What was her
It was
name?
very exciting. Nadia Murad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Don't know.
true.
They did documentaries on her
That's true.
That's always that's fun.
at this school a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
This was a couple weeks ago?
It was spring break.
Oh, yeah.
I
that's
do
right, St.
have
Patrick's Day.
one thing that kind of intrigues me, Oscar. You said tacos el gordo, right?
Yes.
I happen to know, you said you had to travel to San Diego for it?
He said that if we go to San Diego, we have to go to Tacos El Gordo. Yeah.
Which is just interesting because there's actually one right here.
I did find that out when I looked it up.
Yeah. So you just still decided to go to San Diego?
Well,
for
I
it.
was in San Diego anyway, but then while I was there, I had been told to go to the San Diego Tacos El Gordo, so I was like, if a barista gives you a side quest, you have to do
Exactly. The time has come, panel, for you to make your decision. And based on everything you've heard here today, who do you believe is lying between Oskai and Matisse? This is where you choose who you believe is the liar. Lots to deliberate here between Oskai and Matisse. It seems Angie is doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo here. Remember, bragging rights on the line here. Who do you believe?
After very careful consideration.
Yes, it seems very deliberate.
It's gotta the liar, right?
Yes.
It's gotta be Oskai.
Oskai, okay. So you heard it here.
boy.
The panel has decided that Oskai is our liar today. And now we're going to call for the rest of our contestants, Evelyn and Alex, to come out on to stage.
I don't get
We're going to
paid
have
enough for
them
this.
sit down in their respective chairs. Remember, Oskai they chose as the liar. He was someone they originally eliminated, then brought back. They believe that he had some holes in his story. And so, contestants, I don't know if you have seen our new hats that we've provided during the break. They all have the word cap written on today because one of you is today's biggest capper. And you, the one who was our liar today, will go home with this cap unless our panelists picked correctly in Oskai, and then they will get our hats. Oskai, you have been chosen as today's liar. But on the count of 3, will the real liar, if it is you, Oskai, stand up? And we'll go 1, 2, 3. Who's our liar? So Evelyn is our liar. Here you go, Evelyn. You are today's biggest capper. Evelyn, someone that they pushed off to the side, saying that her stories were too solid. How's today's win feel, Evelyn?
Feels pretty great.
You can walk away with a hat, bragging rights, all the Popeyes in our green room that you can. They ship us their food that was previously prepared that they didn't get to sell.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I saw it.
So make sure to go dig into that. Want to thank you all for joining us on this fine day. Remember, this is the show to figure out the truth so that the next time one of your friends is trying to say a cool story, bro, you know the truth. I'm Stephen Hogencamp, and we'll see you next time.